ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we keep thinking about our two teams. It allows us to see a lot more of what the Asian scene has to offer when it comes to Han. So
Hmm. Yeah, and
pretty exciting.
I think it's safe to say now, and I've been kind of stressing this, that the North American European region, they probably are going to be the favorites. Let's be honest, going into that
Yep.
event. But at the same time, I mean, especially in Thailand, where it's such a massive region as far as player base, we could be very, very, very surprised. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring to the table, especially. Anyways, though, we are moving along in this game, so we really should get talking about that. As far as the
Yep.
blind band goes, obviously we both had to kind of join late, so
Yeah, we can see what they are
yeah.
still. We saw that Ophelia and the Wild Soul, and we saw one of the ones was double blind band. I think it was probably or was that
No,
Chipper?
you got Fade and Chipper, so it's four
Okay,
total. So yeah,
okay, sure. Yeah, yeah. I missed that Chipper ban. Of
yeah,
course, not always looking for that one. So,
that's fair enough. Well, actually, the funny thing about Fade Chipper is that specifically it's against OTP. I want to say both Trademark and even Stay Green did this against them in that cycle number 5. And again,
yeah,
those are two heroes especially that they've been running with a lot of success with lately.
yeah. I saw Zibe fall back on that Pyromancer too when Chipper was not an option, but not a hero we see often outside of OTP running him. So I will see what they go with this game. I suggest that they'll probably go with their signature aggressive strategy again, but who knows?
Yeah, well, both of these teams do have a tendency to go more of an aggressive style. I mean, State Green has kind of been like that for the most part. I mean, every now and then they'll go into their bag of tricks, bust up the hard carry and whatnot, which they definitely can do. But yeah, seems like both of the teams like for the most part, especially OTP, to run that very aggressive lineup. So.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. Locks that we have here. Keeper of the Forest to get things kicked off. No surprise. Tempest, Master of Arms. There's that guy coming out. Aluna Empath, and then actually Martyr, whatever you want to call him. He is the final lock here. Again, I don't know if that's necessarily a serious lock, but he would be fun to see here.
Yeah, he would be. I had not seen him at all. I've had him sort of, turn around TMM games here and there, healing up a tank. But I think by most of the scene right now, he's seen as a troll lock. I haven't really seen anyone tap into his potential yet. Otherwise, interesting to see OTP lock that Master of Arms. I wonder if they have a plan up, because they probably know that SG probably going to go for that keeper. Oh, yeah, still probably going to go for that keeper first, I imagine, out of the pool. In response, I'm curious to see if OTP is actually looking to drafting that Master of Arms and putting it in the pool to sort of prevent SG from taking it earlier and then grabbing it in response.
Yeah. Master of Arms, SG, they're kind of the ones that brought this Master of Arms out of the scene as far as that carry role goes. I mean, he's been played support in the past. I know Lions has definitely loved to run him with that way for quite a while now, and we always were kind of, criticized it because it didn't seem like it ever really worked out, but with him kind of stepping up as that carry, but even now, even in the support role, I think people have realize just the power of that Master's Call. It really is ridiculous, especially with that defensive Master's Call. So
such a low cooldown too, man. 60 seconds. It has such an impact. And the cool thing about it, it's a shield that actually works with your damage mitigation. It's not like a chipper shield, which is just all damage applied to it's like pretty much pure.
True.
It actually works with your magic resistance. So the more armor, the more HP, not the more HP, the more armor and more magic resistance you have, the more you'll get out of that shield. It's just like adding extra HP.
Very good point. Very good point. So again, wouldn't be surprised to see him even first picked, honestly, in this game. Maybe by OTP though. We'll see. Rally Engineer going to be the response coming out here from One Trick Pony on top of the Parasite first pick, of course. So speaking of heroes that have really been making a presence here on the competitive scene, I mean Rally's definitely one of those as well. We've been seeing him much more here.
Yeah, Rally's a really cool pick lately. He's capable of soloing just fine, but if you need to adapt your lanes, have someone come into the lane to apply more pressure with him like an engineer, it sort of works very, very well. He has a stun that he can sort of lead with. It's sort of like a Hammer NG or Magnus NG combo, so...
Yeah, now back to State Green side. Swinnemon's going to think about this one a little bit now, just spending a decent amount of extra time, of course, but understandable. But you know what? There you go. Talk about signature State Green there. Going with Wretched Egg and then a Deadwood pick, especially on top of that. We could possibly be seeing that double tree strategy once again coming out here from State Green.
Is no one afraid of it? I don't get why. I don't get it. I literally don't think I've seen them lose with it yet. If they did, maybe they lost the game to TDM with it, but I think even against TDM, they've always won their double tree games.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen double tree lose, period, in the competitive scene, and other times it was picked by other teams on the side or anything like that for as long as I can imagine. I'm not saying that combo is inherently just god tier. I'm just saying they know that combo very well, and I do think it's very powerful.
It's funny because I was tuning into the cast last night, and I know that you happen to be talking about that as well with Beef when SG, or not SG, but I believe I don't know even know how it came up, actually. I think one of the teams might have been running it.
You
But
ramble sometimes. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. Rambling on about that. But anyways, yeah, so Deadwood, though, again, especially for Stay Green, nothing crazy there. Now, so
no.
you
So,
like Warbeast, though, Emperor, don't you?
Warbeast is one of my, spirit animals, I would even say. But the thing is, I don't like it against a keeper, and I don't like it against the Deadwood. And it's going to be really hard for him to actually hit the hag. A lot of kiting ability coming out there. Even through the shrunken head, Deadwood can punch him. The keeper root, keeping the lockdown, maybe even a refresher orb late game. Yeah, he gets a shrunken head, but still, he doesn't have an extra escape mechanism. He can just be frozen there. So I really just do not like the Warbeast pick there.
Great points, and yeah, I could definitely see where you're coming from. Now, I do want to point this out there. Aluna was a final pick, by the way, coming out. I believe it was Aluna. Yeah, Aluna, the final pick coming out for Stay Green. Now, going back to Warbeast, though, I will say One Trick Pony especially, I think they were the ones that kind of brought this onto the scene, was that Suicide Warbeast strategy. I kind of wonder if we're going to see that here with the Suicide Warbeast and then the Tempest jungle instead here coming out from OTP. The Warbeast Suicide, it works out pretty well. As we've seen, you max out that battle cry, it makes for a great team presence early on.
Yeah, look who's actually playing it too. It's Stroyfutter, and I think he's usually the suicide role for their team. So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So, you might actually see that Suicide Warbeast in this game and see that Tempest power farming the jungle, as you're saying. I guess his battle cry can sort of synergize with the minions. It's not terrible. I just feel like when it comes to team fights, inherently just based on the lineup, like maybe a Legionnaire would have gone better against the Keeper, getting more burst off, being more tanky against what they have up front. Taking down a squishier hag. I don't know. I just feel like a Legionnaire would have suited them better than a Warbeast.
Yeah, again, I ultimately see where you're coming from, and I do agree with you. The fact that, especially that Keeper of the Forest, and the fact that you're not going to be able to lock down the hag as you're talking about, still, running a Suicide Warbeast can work out for that earlier on stage, but yeah, will Warbeast have that great impact that it can have, especially in team fights, nom-nom-nomming people and not have to worry about getting kited? It is going to be difficult, so definitely One Trick Pony, specifically Storyfooter, may have his work cut out for him here, but we'll see how that turns out. It looks like we're going to sit in about a 1-minute pause here as Storyfooter asking for it. So, but overall, as far as lineups are concerned, I mean, you think for the most part, lineups did pretty well for both sides, but I do look at Stay Green, and again, this not only is it's such a powerful lineup, but this is definitely a Stay Green style lineup as well. It goes back to the whole mindset that, I mean, sure, you got a Wretched Hag who obviously can be even that hard carry hero, but, a lot of early game presence and a lot of team fight, a lot of ganking potential.
Yep. Yeah, that Parasite should definitely do wonders coming out here. Yeah, I mean, Hag is such a strong hero lately, man, just because she's so safe to put in lane. It's really hard to do something about her. I don't really like her as much in that Suicide. Teams have obviously been making her work, and that's just fine because she catches up in farm by, split pushing the side lanes as battles go on, and then TP's in a little bit late to clean up, but yeah, Wretched Hag, just so much presence throughout all stages of the game. If the enemy team is trying to dive your teammates, she's one of the best turnaround heroes there is, for turning around and getting that hat trick. So, I don't know. I love that hero. I love it with giant AoE lockdown like the Keeper of the Forest, other burst damage like the Deadwood. So, I do like their lineup.
Yeah, so... again, he's Nui right there. Again, I think our graphic once again at the beginning did say it was a best out of 5, but just to clear, but it looks like it does say best out of 3 now. But it is a best out of 3 series, as hey, this is one of those events, especially with it being a single elimination. Maybe you could argue it would be kind of cool seeing best out of 5. I don't know though. The times we've done that in the past, and maybe you as a player, you could vouch for that. I mean, do you think best of 5 ever really has a place, a straight up best of 5 at least, or do you think best of 3 is really just the way to go?
Best of 3s are definitely. I feel like best of 5 does has a place when you're looking at like a grand finals match, something of that intensity, where you want to mitigate as much of chance as possible, or maybe getting screwed by some crazy draft or a one-shot strategy. I think in that time, best of 5 shows consistency between the two teams. It shows adaptation between the matches, less of a chance to get cheesed, and it shows truly who has the higher level of strategy and consistency in their play.
Yeah, and on that note, too, I believe for the Han Tour Grand Finals, they are planning to be best out of 5.
See, I like it.
Exactly. It goes to a point of, when it's really that epic matchup for so much on the line, nothing wrong with a best out of 5. But speaking of that, actually, this GSL event here, so again, we're having our qualifiers. We talked about, we still got to worry about the 30 other teams, including, okay, so I think they're sending 2 from China, actually, by the way, and that's going to be really interesting, to see what they can bring to the table. I believe at least 1 from CIS, if not 2 as well, another one from Latin America. So again, it's kind of that global event like this last DreamHack was that they're going to be sending out there.
How many from Thailand?
I think it's actually 16 from Thailand. So
Okay.
it's like 16 from Thailand and then 16 from the rest of the world, basically.
Yeah.
Is from what I remember reading. But something else. Oh yeah, that's what it was. But it's kind of an interesting format. I think it actually starts out group stages, and then it goes into a double elimination best out of one format, actually.
Okay.
Which is interesting. Yeah.
Now,
But,
well, okay, so here's the thing. It's pretty interesting because they are pretty detached from, like, the NA-EU metagame is usually pretty different than, I guess the Asian scene metagame. Even between the different countries, it could differ. People might say, oh, our metagame is so much more advanced, but when you're caught off guard, or if these matches are, they have to play a bunch of huge different variety of teams, look at what Orange Esports brought to the table for DreamHack, catching a ton of people off guard with, what became the god tier pick of Moon Queen. So, I mean, they might be underestimating some of these teams, and I really wouldn't. All these teams are sort of, having their own little metagame, all the strats to themselves, and if you're caught flat-footed, your chance to drop a game is that much higher.
That's always talked about. In the end, the research factor, I think it's safe to say, that's where honestly Southeast Asia may even have the advantage. It's because, with something like what we have here on Honcast and the coverage that we do for a lot of these events, specifically Han Tour, of course, I mean, there's so many chances for the Southeast Asian teams to see, what's going on over here in the North American, European scene if they choose to, whether they want to work that into their strategy or if they just want to scout out their opponents. Vice versa, though, I mean, it's a little bit tougher to get access to the replays in Southeast Asia, from my understanding. And as far as coverage over there isn't at least as much, definitely not nearly as much as we do over here. So it's kind of a disadvantage for that North American, European region. But
I see.
But
yeah, for sure.
It's going to be fun, man.
Well,
it really is.
I'm looking they're
looks
ready.
like they are good. Here we go. Here we go. Let's do this. Counting in now. Okay, it looks like both of the teams are ready. And here we go into the laning phase. So, nothing strange off the bat. Just going to go get some ward of sights down and whatnot, it looks like, for either side.
Yeah, instantly we see Rally actually heading to the bottom lane here. He is kind of safe when he's going to place that ward. He's going with the NG, who is, he is going to place the ward for the Rally. I guess they're going to...
I assume they're going to end up mid.
Yeah, I assume so, too. I'm assuming they're just going to place.
Yeah.
I would like... Rally, if Engineer gets... tempted to be initiated on or first blooded here, he can push him away. So kind of safe to have that little bodyguard.
Now, this is actually the interesting thing from our Legion side. Are we going to see that pseudo tri-lane aggressive? I guess I didn't even think about that, but it is very possible. Something like maybe an Luna Deadwood Parasite aggressive, especially if you expect Tempest to be in the passive jungle, which is very likely to start. I mean, what do you think that is a possibility? It looks like they are actually moving now more towards the middle, so I guess not. But would you maybe like to see a pseudo tri-lane or no?
I mean, I always like aggressive tri-lanes, especially if you're against heroes that can don't really have mobility. They're not like a wretched tag. They're not heroes that can escape easily. Heroes that you can easily sort of drop, like a Master of Arms. I mean, he's only got 300 move speed. It's not like, it's okay. It's good. Don't get me wrong, but doesn't really have an escape mechanism.
They are doing that. It looks like.
Oh, see, interesting. Yeah, I do like it. I always like that mana lane where you can guarantee lane dominance. And Parasite, one of those junglers that you can't really do much about, worst case scenario, you sort of push him out. It's definitely very hard to stop him or contest him with another jungler. Tempest is decent at it, but
yeah, it actually, I think it is safe to say if it was something like a warbeast, he would have even a tougher time than a Tempest. But at least it is the Tempest, so that's kind of the good news for OTP. But still, nonetheless, you're going to have to deal with an annoying Parasite, which is what he brings to the table. But obviously, in the end, Storyfooter is in that suicide lane here. He's going aggressive, and the fact that Parasite is in his own jungle, that will free up himself a little bit, perhaps, as you do see him doing the pulling with the Hellhounds, of course, bringing them to the lane. And trying to get some lane presence and some lane control there. So maybe that should help warbeast in a sense that he wouldn't need to be necessarily worried about the Parasite, at least earlier on. But we'll see how that works out. But look at this. Tempest already adjusting. He's like, yeah, a Luna Parasite, not going to have it. He's going to go to the Legion jungle here. Engineer Rally, of course, in the middle lane against a solo Keeper of the Forest. So Keeper of the Forest middle, that's also something we never really see.
Yeah, one of the strong things about Keeper, though, is that you can literally put him anywhere. He's just so tanky. His skill set's so strong. Even if he only gets mediocre farms. So no matter where you put him, he'll do his thing. So you can adjust your lanes accordingly with him. It's never like an unsafe pick, and that's part of what makes him in the god tier.
Yeah. Now, the big thing to stress is, we always seem to do, but once again, this game, I mean, more of an aggressive lineup here from Stay Green. No doubt it's starting with that Deadwood. You got a Master of Arms. You got a Master of Arms with that Master's Call, and if he's on the ball, which I'm sure Xibby will be, you can't guarantee that you have the kill lever. You always got to keep in mind that that may very likely come out. So
Yeah, that's if the Falcon Punch doesn't one-hit kill them.
True. That is a good point,
No.
but still. But yeah, you already see the strategy coming into play. The Suicide Warbeast, as we've seen in the past, like I was talking about. I mean, he gets that battle cry, and he is going to max this out. In fact, there we go. And then he just spams it, and it helps the laning presence so much. It helps the jungle Tempest. It's actually a really cool strategy to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, apparently he just plays it so well that whenever they pick War, I mean, I guess they consider it pretty much his like signature suicide lane hero, this Warbeast for Destroy Flutter. So I've never actually gotten to watch it too much, and I'm excited to see how it plays out. So far, he's actually doing pretty good. 8 CS, still got a lot of life.
Top lane, no, that Luna's in a lot of trouble. Zibby going for the kill, but Zibby getting turned on himself. The hasted Parasite comes in, and Swindlemelon's actually taking credit for the kill. Engineer came up here, looked like, I'm not sure how that started, but it was a case of a Luna nearly dying first, but in the end they turn it on to Master of Arms, and Bloodlust kill will come out in favor of Stay Green, specifically for that Deadwood, and that just makes it even worse, right?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Master of Arms. He doesn't have a lot of mobility. Engineer's only level 1 now. This lane is only going to get worse. You give that lane a little bit of an advantage, and they can just press it so hard. I'm not sure if you remember, but right before Deadwood started getting picked up a lot more lately, they did buff the duration on his Rod and Grasp to 1.5 and 2 seconds at level 1 and 2, so it's a lot more effective now.
Yeah, that's very true. And again, Swindlemelon says, seems like he's always like that hero, but especially after buffs like that, you know. Love it even more, right? So, Fuzi here on Rally, you do got to, I think it is safe to bring this up now. For One Trick Pony, I mean, maybe it is getting to the point where it's simply going to be too late, but is there any validity here to the fact, should they be sitting Rally maybe top now, and maybe this Master of Arms Engineer middle? I mean, should they be making adjustments?
Well, it would have definitely been an easier lane for him to survive in and sort of soak up experience. Obviously, melee heroes don't get denied as much experience when the denies happen too, and he's got an escape. Right now, I don't know if they should make that adjustment, though. Rally's just trying to hit his level 6 so he can have an impact on the game.
Yeah.
Master now has a lane partner. It's a straight-up 2v2, so we'll have to just wait and see.
Yeah, but so in the big picture, again, the top lane may not be going that great at all for Master of Arms, but you do still have a Rally who is actually seeming like he's doing very well here in the middle lane, 20 against a 10-2 keeper. So yeah, that battle experience, I mean, Rally's proven, especially in the 1v1 matchups, can definitely dominate. Now, we do see Parasite, he thought about coming in, but he's actually going to pick up the regen ring right there, or bottle it, I should say. Rally may need to be careful.
Man, look at this Warbeast on bottom. 19 CS here, really going toe-to-toe with this Hag in the safe lane, so yeah, still doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, and again, you can't forget about the battle cry. It's level 3 now, and it is literally being spammed, the global presence, every hero. So, I mean, that even goes more for Rally, why maybe he's even winning. Even with that, I'm sure he still could, but even with that, I mean, again, and also Tempest, it's no doubt enhancing his farm, too. In that jungle, now top lane, a lot of Joe. Rotten Grass going to land an Engineer's going to keg himself. It ain't going to matter, though. He'll eventually fall, looks like. Down he goes. Chessie gets a kill. Master of Arms kind of stood there like, what do you want me to do? I'm only level 3, nothing more I could. And again, just a great setup. Chessie playing that aggressive Parasite. Sets up the easy kill, really.
Yeah, now he's porting to the bottom lane, gonna apply some pressure on the Tempest in his own jungle. Maybe gonna slow down his level 6 so that Tempest can't come out and gank the lane.
Tempest might be in a little bit of trouble here. In comes the good blocking from Keeper of the Forest. Great job by Kazu, having the presence of mind. In comes Wretched Egg as well, and down goes Znui there. As Wretched Egg being played by Slicks, of course, he's the one that ultimately gets credit for the kill. Again, just great movement coming out from Stay Green. Now, actually, the Hellhounds, or the Minions, excuse me, will finish off Slicks. I wasn't even watching that. I apologize. And now the Warbeast ulti form. There is a regen on the Parasite, but Parasite is definitely in some trouble right here. Warbeast chasing him down. A couple more auto attacks, maybe already using all those bottle charges for the most part. He is going to take over a creep. Here comes Rally, too, though. Stunning with the Minotaur after he takes it over. Rally not going to be here in time, though. He is going to use that Compel, but again, is this going to be enough? I just don't know if it is.
And he's get another Compel off, just no way.
Yeah.
You saw right there, man, Warbeast with his Howl down, and even with his Howl up, his Howl was down for most of the attacks on the Parasite there, but meanwhile, Hag is turning onto the Tempest here, but just pushing back the wave, I guess.
He hit the Bat Blast, but yeah. No, Slicks does that, I will say that much. We've seen that several times before, where he'll use abilities like that just to clean up creep waves, so it is kind of funny, but I don't know if that was the intention there by any means, but maybe it was.
Yeah, I mean, he just looked like he picked up the quick kills in the elementals, stopped down the push, and got some farm. He's definitely an advocate of like using your spells rather than holding onto them if he sees a situation in which it's remotely useful. He's already low mana now here on bottom lane, though, but I mean, he did pick up a little bit of. He's at 300 GPM, so hey.
Yeah. Can't complain. But yeah, so you're talking about this Warbeast and the fact, again, that battle cry here.
Yeah.
How much of an impact it's having.
I was gonna say so much of warbeast's damage during ulti form at levels 6, 7 is those level 3 and 4 wolves. They do so much damage. When wolves are down, you actually notice you don't do that much. And especially with his battle cry there, it looked like he was just tickling the parasite. There was no way he could drop him.
Yeah. But then it's up, and all of a sudden, he's dead. Engineer, in the meantime, at the top lane, once again in some trouble. Being chased down. He is going to stay alive for now. He's going to put the turret out, actually doing a little bit of slow right there. Aluna also took in some pressure from Master of Arms, but now Deadwood going for him. But in the end, both will survive. It looks like bottom lane, we could have some action coming on down here. Warbeast and Tempest are pushing. Of course, applying plenty of damage to the tower, actually. Warbeast does have the ulti form as well. But Parasite is here. Wretched Hag, of course, here as well. Now, she is fairly low on mana, so that could be the moment of the Selborne team maybe making a play here. If they can actually set something up. In fact, Wretched Hag, she will need to be careful. Wild Hunter going to spot them, though, being controlled, of course, by Parasite. He's actually going to maybe take out this mana potion. Yeah, he will right there. And, of course, being magic immune doesn't necessarily need to be too worried. So he's going to fall back, and at least they're preventing a solid push coming out here at the bottom lane for the time being. Yeah,
I'm just curious. Tempest had 350 life. I think if he just came out of there with an ulti right away, a nuke and one attack, he would have gotten the kill. He was at 350 life at the time, 200 from each of his nukes plus an auto.
Yeah.
I think he could have gotten it.
You just see them all of a sudden get to the tower, though, and it just falls. The battle cry on top of the minions, absolutely no chance. Here we go to the Wild Hunter. It's what you're talking about. Is he going to open? Yes, he is. Health potion going to be used, though, right away coming out from Snooey. It was almost as if he was baiting it right there, and he is going to be more than fine and actually getting the full duration of the health potion off. The Wild Hunter Parasite, he's just running away. And that'll be that. So great heads up coming out from Snooey playing that Tempest. I mean, again, he definitely knew something was up, and he was waiting for it the whole time. So
yeah, Deadwood level 6 now up here top. I'm sure they're going to be looking for a kill. I mean, they were applying a lot of pressure without even having that ulti up. Now Deadwood has that ulti. He's one of those heroes that just, once he hits that level 6, man, you got to be careful. So
yeah. Yeah, speaking of that, I mean, Swindle Melons, he's actually been really over the 400 gold per minute for most of this game. He's been involved in those 2 kills, of course, but yeah, he's been doing a great job in creep farm, too. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the top. Okay, he's pretty much neck and neck with Rally, really, as up there as one of the tops in the game. Again, the hatchet, the log, very, very powerful, and the presence that the lane, his team has had up here is very good. Now, middle lane, Keeper of the Force might be in a little bit of trouble. As
Parasite's edging up on top as well.
Yep, she's going up there. You do see Tempest actually stunning Wretched Hag, but not going to be much. But Parasite, where's Parasite? I don't see
Parasite was up in the top woods. He has the Minotaur, and they might look to dive this Engineer or Master. Master's out in the woods actually farming, so I don't know how hard they'll go for an Engineer, and I don't know if they know exactly where he's at.
Yeah.
They also
middle lane, actually, they're going to collapse, but no, Keeper of the Force going to Nature's Veil right there, and he will be fine. So they really want to try to set something up here, but no, he's just going to spawn the minions. Again, that Battle Cry coming out, which is level 4 now, by the way, so that's 44 bonus attack damage to yourself and his allied heroes to assist with. Meanwhile, though, Chessie coming in for the gank. Going to use it. Going to be compelled forward, though. That could be the saving grace for Tempest. Doesn't have enough mana for anything. That's going to be a big no-no here. Rally trying to save him. Tempest, nice out in the woods. However, in comes Slice. Gets that kill. Now Rally might be in a little bit of trouble. Compel not up for another 3 seconds. No TP support coming in. Master's Call going to be... No, never mind. That wasn't used right there, actually, as Wretched Hag is going to fall back with the rest of them. So Rally will be fine, able to tank the damage. For some reason, I thought the blue Master's Call came out, but he's not level 6 just yet. So only ends up being 1 kill at least.
Yeah, he's got to be just a wave away right now. He was level 5. He was farming in the woods. He came back to lane, got a little bit of experience. So very soon, edging upon at level 6. Rally pushed back in middle. He's probably going to have to go heal here.
Yeah. And in fact, he compels himself backwards. So now, with the way OTP's playing, again, the Story Footer back here at the bottom lane. They've already pushed that bottom tower. Rally has, for the most part, been sitting in this middle lane. I mean, Engineer, he has been kind of just protecting MOA up here. It doesn't seem like OTP has been too aggressive in terms of pushing other towers or ganking. I mean, you find that to be a problem right now with this game going on here?
They probably should sometime soon. I think they're just trying to get a little bit of core picked up here. They're kind of scared, though, because there is the Blast, there is the Deadwood that's farming, 400 GPM, almost about to have his portal key, a keeper route. It's pretty hard for them to push. Yeah. If they're getting contested. Like, bottom lane, no one's there right now, but the rest of the team is all spread out throughout mid and top, so I think they're afraid of a team fight.
Speaking of Warbeast, again, the biggest concern you brought up with him was the fact that he's going up against the Keeper of the Forest. So he goes to the side shop, which is the Mystic Vestments right there. With that said, though, do you think it would make sense for him to invest for basically a first item Shrunken Head?
Yeah, it's still very, very good. Some people like to get Bulwark after the Abyssal first. I think Abyssal is pretty much core on that hero. When it comes to the Shrunken Head, yeah, it'll be good against Keeper, obviously, and all of the magic damage coming from Hag, and I guess there's not that much because Deadwood's physical, but good to dispel that Keeper route. it just becomes a battle then, because warbeast, like, he might not pop his shrunken until
Middle
he
lane,
roots as
Rally's
well.
in a lot of trouble, and the red power throw actually going to finish him off right there. Look at that. Basically, all 5 heroes on Stay Green having an impact there in that gank, and now they're going to push the middle lane. Stay Green, again, they're just so good at doing this. They do this every single game, it seems like, where they have that moment of just setting up a big gank initially early on in the game, pushing a tower out of it, and getting even a bigger golden experience lead as a result. So.
Yeah. Once you give Stay Green a lead, they're definitely good about that map control.
The Legion takes down a Hellborn tower.
Of course, the portal key has been finished on Deadwood now for a little bit as they take the middle tower out right there.
That's rough. His level's not that insane. Level 8, he's not exactly, snowballing, but they're all above level 6 here. Engineer level 4, he really does need that ulti to sort of have an impact in these fights. Before then, he just sort of, can't really offer too much for them.
I kind of wonder if, you mentioned the warbeast, signature is really that Abyssal Skull, of course, but I wonder if he actually is going to be going for Abyssal Skull here.
I mean, he has the gold for it, and he's not picking it up, so...
Yeah, I mean, I'm blanking on if he does usually build it when he plays the Suicide Roll. It has been a while, so I can't say I remember, but he isn't going for it, it looks like. Like I said, he definitely has the gold for it now with everything the teacher already picked up, but... he might be going for something like that, shrunken at first. I mean, maybe with the circumstance. Okay, there you go. Right as you're talking about it, sure enough, he will purchase it. So never mind.
Yeah.
He's going to go Abyssal here. Buying time for Master of Arms, though, if anything, is definitely a name of the game here for OTP, trying to get his farm bumped up, but still struggling, unfortunately, for Xibbe. He's barely sitting at that 200 gold per minute mark, if that. So really capitalizing off of Warbeast and this Tempest, and especially Rally, who is actually having a fairly good time at 334 GPM.
Yeah, I would like to see them maybe start blocking the Ancients of Legion, preventing them from getting too much farm. They don't really have any hard Ancient farmers, though, on this Legion team. Still Keeper of the Forest and such. I mean, later on, Warbeast Wolves, as the game moves on, so you don't have as many resources that you can actually tap. You can sort of, even with one wolf, farm Ancients. Meanwhile...
Engineer, he found his friend there in Deadwood, or more so the other way. Actually, going to be coming out here. Roll stun. There it says, oh, that's going to be stunned, though, by Aluna. The seismic send attempt not in time. The offensive master's call was used right there, I believe. Never mind, it was not. Why do I keep thinking he has it? I think it's a Ghost Marchers that are throwing me off. But anyways, he is not able to get it off. Good job by Z-Freak right there, at least for State Green. Able to stun at the seismic slam just before it came out, which very likely could have been a kill on a Deadwood right there. So good team support coming up after the gank onto Engineer. So again, nothing's getting out of hand necessarily for State Green, but they do continue to have a strong lead here. And Wretched Hag is actually having some decent farm at 300 gold per minute. Of course, the Hellflower definitely in the works.
Yeah, Rally did just pick up his helm as well, building up that tanky nature. Chessie actually, he is going for the Hellflower this game. Hag as well, the double Hellflower will definitely be effective. He looks like he's trying to set up a gank on this Parasite, the Tempest, I mean.
Yeah, Tempest, he doesn't have any clue. The red power throw coming out. Here we go. The face hug is going to be enough to survive. The red master's call, and that's exactly what we're talking about. In comes the port from Rally. There's that Compel, and Parasite will fall. Guess what? Master of Arms having an impact with his ultimate early on in the game. I mean, go figure, right? That's just what this hero does.
Yeah, we talk about it so much, though. If you invest in a kill and you cannot get it, it's almost certain that usually, punishment occurs. So, very good job.
Able to save him, and look at this. Just like State Green did earlier with a pick and then a push. OTP going to answer themselves now. Might not be a completed tower kills. Deadwood jumps in. The Falcon Punch into Warbeast going to be compelled away. Warbeast running back in, though, actually. Not sure what Storyfooter was doing right there, and he eventually falls. The demoralizing roar coming out, but Xibbe will be picked off, it looks like, too. And ends up being a 2-for-0 exchange, and they're probably also going to deny the tower now, as it is just in denier range. So I don't know what Storyfooter was doing there, honestly. He didn't even, he didn't have ulti for him, but still, he kind of ran back into the team. Maybe he figured he was dead and trying to bait them, but I don't know. That was kind of odd.
What do you feel about Tempest not being there with them?
Oh God, you're right. Why was Tempest not there?
Well,
he must have just played
afterwards. Remember, they did attempt to kill him in middle, so he had to heal up.
That's true.
I think I would have liked to see them wait for the Tempest to join them for that fight. He is an integral part to their team fight, and pushing without him just seems sort of silly.
Yeah, it was a case of they got to pick on Parasite. They figured they could push, but Tempest didn't have his secondary power or his first tower to port to, and maybe that was the biggest issue right there, where if he ported into the secondary, I mean, he wouldn't be able to get there in time anyway. So
yeah, true.
Again, that kind of goes back to the whole, tower kills are great for gold and everything, but there's a lot more to tower kills than just simply the gold. So Yeah, that is a big deal, though. You're right. Snooey not being there, no doubt, a big impact. And I don't know. I keep looking back at this warbeast, though, especially playing that suicide role again. You know, maxing out the battlecry first. It seems like that's the perfect, the perfect kind of idea and strategy to just group up and push. But you are right. I mean, this Legion team, they do have good team fight themselves, so it is difficult, I guess.
Oh, for sure.
Engineer's
still not level 6 too, man.
Oh, really? Wow, yeah. He has not been having the... I mean, he was at the top lane. He had to play very defensive, no doubt, against that Deadwood and Luna, and obviously Parasite constantly being nearby, so it's understandable, but at the same time, Engineer is good because of the energy field, really. So.
Yeah, I was just saying I would like to see warbeast use his wolves a bit like how teams use that Pharaoh rocket to block ancients and block creep spawns as the game goes on to try to deny SG a little bit of their farm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something we do actually see quite a bit of warbeast players. I know Chessie, I always get impressed by his play. You know, when he happens to play here like warbeast, he constantly does it as well. So, Keeper the Force and Deadwood, again, the double tree strat coming out right here. They're going to actually clear up the triple stack ancients over here on their side of the map and enhance their farm. Speaking of Keeper the Force, by the way, he has another 2,400 gold saved up, actually, after when Ghost March's Ring of Sorcery. So he can definitely go that portal key, of course. He has a level 2 root here. But may decide to go more of a team fight route too. You know, something like that Astrolabe we see on him as well, of course. So.
Yeah, I would like to see the portal key this game still too. I think it synergizes beautifully with Bat Blast, with the follow up from Deadwood, letting Parasite get into great position to pick a hero off. I would like to see it still.
Yeah, I kind of feel like too with the Astrolabe, you'd at least have the bracers by now too. So. Probably the portal key, and he is back at the well now, though, and not buying anything.
Like he's thinking about it. I don't know. Like maybe he's
looking at the shop. What item is?
He's going for the Astrolabe. Just gonna go for a huge tanky presence. Get up there in the front of those fights and say, "Hey, you can't kill me." And when you're trying to take me down, I'm gonna counter you with my ulti.
Yeah.
And then the follow-up's gonna come out, and they'll just go for a more pushing route. So.
Yeah. Again, it is, of course, it's a fine item in the end. I do agree with you, though. I think, being able to synergize with the team, that portal key initiation would be useful. But at the same time, maybe waiting, if anything, for that warbeast ultimate to initiate himself and then rooting is what I'm going for, as well as Tempest. So now Tempest, well, you see right there, defensive master's call coming out. He got caught in a rotten grasp, so obviously they figured maybe Deadwood would be jumping in. But I honestly think Deadwood was baiting that. He didn't really look like he was interested in jumping in. So maybe that was just a heads up by Swinamelons of being all, waste your 60-second cooldown. They're not going to take advantage of it, though, then maybe not, but that's entertaining nonetheless. Rally's farm, it continues to be pretty damn good. I mean, Fuzi's having a good time here. How much of an impact is a Rally going to have, though, with this farm and whatnot?
I feel like, Lucky's getting jumped right here by the Keeper.
Yeah, Keeper the Force, the Rudo coming. He's going to compel away, but Deadwood will jump right on top. In comes a rotten grasp, and even that tanky as Deadwood or as Rally is, you see right there, that Falcon punch from Deadwood now being level 2 on top of a Soul's Bulwark, which he just purchased. Easily takes out Rally. So it's the curse of we start talking about them and they die. But anyways, I mean, still the question still stands. What's the deal with Rally?
Well, I feel like Rally just is going to have a really hard time. Deadwood's sort of an anti-tank counter in himself. With his ultimate, still sort of limited in mobility against this Legion team. They got a Keeper to lock him down, the Deadwood punch to lock him down. I just feel like he's not going to be able to do that much.
Yeah.
They're busting out the Hellflowers here now for Wretched Hag. It's actually on the way to him right now. Actually, no, he isn't. He just...
To me, it's, again, they only have 2 kills total, so, and I guess this isn't the most, like, we're going to roam you and gank you constantly, especially compared to the SG lineup, but... he's Fuzi himself on Rally. The fact that he has great farm is good, but he's 1-2-0, and this Rally does seem like a hero that he gets those early levels and then will start assisting the team and setting up kills and whatnot. So kind of unfortunate that they don't have that working for them.
I like to see Rally a lot partnered with another big giant tank stunner. They can get up there. I feel like the push just synergizes so well with it. Meanwhile, they are shaping up to try to kill the Rally up here with Deadwood and Hag.
3 kills already.
Yep, and just like that, well, Rally's dead. So. Deadwood and Wretched Hag, as you put it, the Bat Blast even came out, of course. You see a Defensive Master's Call put on a Tempest. I kind of wonder if that was maybe meant for Rally and it's kind of a misclick, or...
Yeah, he might have clicked on the map and he just died way too fast.
Yeah.
As you can see there, it would not have even mattered. The Rotten Grasp didn't even hit. That provided 3 more seconds of lockdown. -4 armor, 300 damage, so it wouldn't have done anything in the end.
Yeah, OTP. I think what they're really just going for now is buy time for this warbeast. Buy time for this warbeast to just get that shrunken head at the very least. I think maybe with that shrunken head, that's where they might look to try to make something happen here, as far as starting to push.
I feel like by the time he gets his shrunken head, they're just going to be too tanky, too powerful on SG's lineup, and ultimately you could even see that refresher orb coming out from Keeper. So
yeah. There's that. There's the Hellflower that's been finished now on Slicks. There's another one in the works that we talked about on Parasite. Chessie will have his very shortly. So, yeah, it's not to say that that is going to be the effective and the thing that works here for OTP, but I kind of feel like that's where they're at right now, of at least waiting for that. But with that said, too, if anything, this is definitely a lineup. I mean, between the Master of Farms and that Warbeast especially, they can play the game of we're just going to try to farm against you and out carry you in the late game. And I think that's safe to say that's kind of there. But you are behind earlier on by quite a bit, and that's never a good thing if you're going for that. So,
yeah,
Warbeast just pushing back the bottom lane, taking a little bit of harassment, but going to be fine.
I'll look at the Wolves scouting out them doing the Ancients. At least they can watch it happen. It's a good view right here.
As they show themselves. And they're like, here's free gold.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Deadwood will take that. Engineer just barely level 6. I mean, that's another thing that, it just sucks. Again, nothing against RG Tiger by any means, but he's level 6 compared to the level 9 Luna there on the opposition. That's obviously not a good comparison for his sake. Tempest, by the way, what do you think of Tempest build? I mean, he went the Plated Greaves, the Astrolabe, so he goes some more of the tank and spit. I gotta stop saying these hero names, man. As soon as I say them, they get kicked out. Here we go, though. There's the Astrolabe, the Master's Call. Is he actually going to survive? I think he might have Tempest ultimate coming out, and now Swindelmel's in trouble. Here comes the rest of the team support. Energy field. What the hell was that compel right there? I have no clue. But in the end, they'll kill Swindlemel, and so, well, he stays alive somehow.
Yeah, it seemed like the raid boss dropped there. It felt like they had to do so much in order to kill him, but you saw there, once again, the power of Master's Call, man. Just doing work, keeping OTP in this game by allowing them those turnaround kills. Yeah.
Now, the Dove Warbeast here at the bottom lane, especially that Wretched Agma, she's going to blink away now, poured out, realizing, are we going to see a compel? No, it was actually, if that was a half a second earlier, maybe.
Yeah, but, I mean, he got there as fast as he could. He was very perceptive as to the location, but he just wasn't able to land it.
Just not in time. But yeah, so again, the Tempest, as I say a hero name and all of a sudden they get skanked. But hey, he stayed alive that time, so that was good for him. But I was just talking about it though. The fact that you look at his items and it kind of makes sense why he maybe survived. Not only the Plated Greaves, but the Astrolabe. So you agree with that?
Yeah, I feel like they have a pretty big initiation advantage here on Legion. He doesn't want to get dropped down. He's just hoping to survive and apply that turnaround potential with a good ulti. Yeah, I actually do like the build-up item Tempest build. It feels like less all-in than when you get a portal key. So
true.
Yeah.
It feels like you don't need to force anything necessarily.
Exactly. You still have items that are giving you a little bit of an advantage in a fight, even when you're not ending the perfect 5-man.
And I know that's actually I believe the Shuriken is finished on Warbeast now. So again, that's definitely a big item here for One Trick Pony. I wanted to bring up though, because I know we've actually talked about this a little bit. Tralf was actually even unsure. I kind of was as well, but I think I actually got confirmation on it. The Deadwood log throw, it actually will not stun through Shrunken Head.
The Legion takes down a Hellborn Tower.
Just to clarify that.
But Deadwood log throw while they have Shrunken Head, the stun itself is magical. So yeah, as long as they don't have a Shrunken Head up though, it will mini stun.
Yeah. But then of course there is the Parasite, there is the Keeper of the Forest. I mean, this still is a very, very difficult game for Tempest. As honestly most games nowadays are. You really never get a good Tempest game, let's be honest. Tempest is speaking of him once again, talking about him. He gets jumped as soon as he ports in, and he just drops like it's hot. The rest of the team was like, wait, what just happened? No Master's Call, no compel. I mean, nothing came out. That was just simply, they just dropped him before they could react apparently. And they also got the tower. I'm honestly a little bit curious about that because it seemed like he stayed alive for a good, maybe a second and a half, 2 seconds there. But
yeah, they just probably feel like they couldn't do anything. They were still afraid of the Keeper route coming out anymore. The follow-up, I just think they're on the back foot here. But yeah, you were saying like no games right now seem to be a good Tempest game. I agree. Still a very powerful hero, but it seems like he doesn't have those matchups anymore where you're like, oh, this is going to be an easy game for me. I can land my ultis whenever I want, wherever I want. Definitely you have to have a lot more thought into it these days.
Yeah, actually, while we're on that topic too, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but big shout out. I'll find out your name after this, but there's a community member that actually apparently he manually went through all the Cycle 5 Haunter games and recorded all the bans, all the locks, all the picks, and so he got all these stats from that, which is pretty cool, of course. And an interesting stat amongst many was Keeper the Force and Tempest, they were actually both around 35-40% win percentage. They were actually not the greatest win percentage, believe it or not. So Keeper was around, I think, like 45% or something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of factors that I guess go into that more. I guess when people are what they're trading for. He was basing those tiers off of win percentage though, and the amount of times they were banned and picked.
Yeah, it was all. I'll show you after.
That's on the list. I just wasn't sure of the exact formula he used. If it was purely based on preference or their win rate or what exactly he was going by.
True. I mean, obviously, maybe it is kind of a little bit deceiving to an extent, but at the same time, it's at least a basis to get somewhat of an idea and some fun information in the end. So.
Yeah, a lot of times you see that Keeper and go head against each other, so maybe trading games here and there.
That's true, actually. I do know Wild Soul, though. He was actually very good. So, I forget the exact number, but so that's a hero that, the numbers definitely back up when people say he's God tier. So, you mentioned the Red Stone possibility. Guess what? Keeper has it.
Yeah, I mean, we see the impact Keeper has on games and Tempest, though. I mean, I don't know. I would need to look into it and see the games that were lost and what teams were playing. And it's different if a mid-tier team is losing with a certain hero than, if you're looking at the best of the best, using those heroes to their, full potential. It's just, it's a different story.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, the fact that they got the 2 roots now, of course, being level 16 on top of that, so that's, in a sense, on paper, 8 seconds of AoE lockdown here that Keeper the Force can put out, so... Clearly big news there for Stay Green. Master of Arms, I mean, he kind of continues to not have a big impact at all, unfortunately, other than maybe a couple of the global ultimates, which of course is very useful from him. But as far as, him being that kind of a farming hero in this game, at least that was the idea from OTP, it ain't happening, and it hasn't been happening. We're now 20.5 minutes in.
Yeah.
Did he purchase a quick... I could have sworn I saw him just purchase a quick blade, by the way. He has a Blessed Orb on him. So I'm assuming a Geometer's Bane, but, what do you think of the item Blessed Orb? Do you think it's cost efficient?
Oh, cost efficient in and of itself? Not really. Obviously, look at the stats, 10 stats or 2,100 gold. Compare that to the cost of a minor totem, I mean. Yeah, straight up in cost efficiency, not the best. It is a very good build-up item. It does build into a lot of very high-tier, very effective items. So, and it only takes 1 item slot, so all of those stats in 1 item slot isn't that bad. But no, it's not the most cost-efficient item in the game.
Yeah, he has, and again, I believe I saw him purchase the quick blade. So, he is. Well, we'll need to finish the Firebrand first, obviously, and then the pattern for the Geometer's Bane. But it seems like that's the item that he's going to be going for. Do you like that? I mean, the Energizer and the Geometer's Bane.
Yeah, the Geometer's, look, he's against a Keeper, man, and the Parasite. Pretty good. Granted, the Hellflower will stop a lot of that stuff from coming out, but we'll see. Now, they now have 2 Portal Key Hellflowers coming out for Legion. I say 2 Portal Key Hellflowers. That's because Hag has a built-in Portal Key, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, basically is, and actually Engineer's in some trouble as well as maybe Rally. Can he get compelled away, perhaps? Yes, he will be. Great job from Rally. Oh, the Power Throw connects, but still... not enough. So, and actually an offensive Master's Call used right there by Master of Arms. Yeah, he used it on himself randomly. Not sure what that was about, but it is a short cooldown.
Yeah,
so.
It is a short cooldown, but still there was no purpose. That
was kind of silly. But yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, again, Rally happened to be there as long as he's close enough. Of course, that's a great, in a sense, the free tablet as we always refer to, coming out from him. So. Good team support, but we got a possible fight brewing here in the middle lane. In fact, Deadwood's going to jump in. Rally going to be targeted towards defense. The Master's Call not going to be applied because this is off cooldown. and Rally will fall right there. The root's going to come out, hits 3 of the 4 heroes. warbeast still off to the side, no ulti, no shortcut hit going to be used. Wretched Act jumping in the background, takes an engineer. OTP just seems almost lost right here. Rally is going to buy back, and he's going to be locked in as soon as he comes in. The red's not coming out. He's going to compel himself forward. Will be fine for now. warbeast goes ulti for him finally, but there's the second root coming out, and warbeast just being locked down as expected. He now realizing he needs to run away. Defensive master's call will be applied to him. Rally off to the side. Demoralizing roar, not going to be there for the finish. Chessie those snipes out Master of Arms. The rest are sticking alive for a state green for now. Wretched Act jumping back in. Tempest, though, should be fine, I believe, unless we have further initiation. But all of state green, they actually are still somewhat nearby here. But it seems like they are going to now fall back and be done with it. So, I don't know. It just seemed like, I mean, I know they're down by quite a bit, so it's understandable, but it seemed like a sloppy fight from OTP.
Yeah. Well, they initiate on the Rally, and Rally's one of those heroes like, okay, say they're initiating on him, they're using the Entangle, so he can't exactly compel himself around or use that Seismic Slam. In fact, he's one of those heroes that if you initiate on, there's some heroes like, I don't know, say a Pebble, say you don't kill a Pebbles and you're right next to him, he's going to do his like stun toss combo right away. He'll still get off a lot of his damage. Or Deadwood using that punch and root right away to still get off his damage even if he's going to go down in the end. If you initiate onto a Rally and he survives and you still have him locked down, I feel like he can't really even do any of what he needs to do in a fight. He sort of relies on good positioning, good timing in those fights to get his combo off. So
yeah.
Definitely, yeah, they chose a good target to initiate on.
Well, and I also, again, it's a not to call out players by any means, but as I say that, I'm going to call out a player, Exhibit here. He did use that Master's Call very randomly. It didn't make any sense, and it was still on cooldown from that. Despite it being a short cooldown, it was still on cooldown.
Yeah, that's actually true.
So, it's, again, kind of, I don't know if that was just him, you know, maybe just kind of having a funny moment, or if that simply was a misclick, very possible, but in the end, you know, could have been the saving grace for Rally right there if he had it. But back to farm we go, but you look at the golden experience advantages right now in favor of State Green. Of course, over 16,000 gold and basically 16,000 experience lead here in their favor. And then, of course, Wretched Hag. Slicks, he's done this a couple times before. He actually goes a Whispering Helm here on Hag. Not an item you would expect, perhaps, but nonetheless, he has one, and I'm guessing a Savage Mace next.
That's Slicks for you going pure combat Hag. Just, I don't know.
Loves it, man.
He loves it.
It's you know, Savage Mace we see a lot, and you know it's understandable. But the Whispering Helm, it's just it seems like an odd item for him. I mean, especially with low attack speed, it's I don't know.
Yeah, I mean he's got a Hellflower and he's got a Steam Boots now, so his attack speed isn't all that bad. But I mean, only 1.25 attacks per second even with all. But yeah, it's just kind of strange.
Yeah. Well, it's it is also armor though, so
yeah.
Again, I'm sitting here trying to break it down, but
look, they have 16,000.5 surplus gold.
Yeah.
That's just gonna help him farm more. He can take Ancients without losing HP now. Yeah, I guess he just wanted a little bit of a farming tool.
Ooh, actually, Deadwood ganking Rally by himself. He's going to compel for the will connected Deadwood. In comes the keg stun. Deadwood's now the one in a lot of trouble. Out comes the energy field. He's going to go for Tempest, but he's being locked down, and he will fall. So Deadwood's almost picking off Rally actually by himself. But a defensive master's call came out. But in the meantime, that might have been just distraction, if anything, as the rest of the team just pushes the middle tower.
Yeah, that might have been a distraction, or maybe Swindle just getting ahead of himself there, because I mean, look at Rally's life, man. 1,600. I mean, he did have a Bulwark picked up. It was undefensive. He's just... There's no way Deadwood's going to drop him solo. And didn't we learn that lesson already when he jumped onto a much squishier Tempest, when he had a much higher level advantage on earlier?
He wanted a challenge. He wanted a challenge. Yeah, I think you're right, though. It is... It may, again, I don't know how much life Rally... Maybe he was actually fairly low. I wasn't really paying attention to that.
Yeah.
But he did nearly kill him. I will say that much. It actually was pretty close. But yeah, he was able to survive, and they were able to turn it. Now, Keeper of the Forest, he does have a double root ready to go once again, as the Resto Stone is off cooldown. So keep that in mind if a fight starts right here. And it looked like there was one brewing, but the Legion team is going to fall back. Tablet of Command just picked up by Aluna, so the support, the ward bitch, she's getting some good farm herself. Tempest is chasing, can't get there close enough though. Speaking of Tempest, though, he is actually working on finishing a barrier idol, and as always, a very good pickup for a team. So that will be good here for the Hellborn team. Tempest up right on top of Keeper, but again, he's invis, so can't necessarily see him. Although maybe a Rev's going to come down. Engineer running to no man's land. He's not going to be stunned, though. Here comes a kick. There's our Tempest. Aluna runs into it, actually. She went for the stun, but it is going to be canceled eventually. Keeper of the Forest gets one root off. Master of Arms in, but Slicks from behind. Chessie also joining the party. Deadwood jumping in, and Master of Arms will fall. Rally realizing it was all a bait. It was all a tarp. Hat trick comes out for Slicks, and they will just clean up OTP right there. Mass TP's at the bottom lane, by the way, as warbeast is going to ulti form and run, though. And I think he will be fine, but
futile efforts. OTP just sort of dragging this game out. I just don't see the turnaround potential with their team. Apparently, the warbeast is just going to get locked down by everything they have to offer here on Legion. Maybe just trying to buy time, you know, figure out what they're going to do for the next game.
Starfighter's in trouble. He's probably going to die here. Yep, Hellflower comes out, and down he goes. So, Casey did a good job of actually pursuing the whole time. Yeah, they're going to call GG's, especially after that. They know it's over, and understandably, Stay Green, too strong, man, too strong in the end. OTP, again, I kind of wonder a little bit earlier on, you know, your Master of Arms is getting locked down. It seems like, though, especially with that Suicide Warbeast again, maxing out the Battle Cry, the Tempest being there, it seems like maybe they could have had a little bit more pushing presence early on. I still feel that, but...
Yeah, I mean, that would have been their time to try to take advantage and use their lineup. You're right, because as the game went on, as Keeper, you know, got more powerful, got more of that tanky presence, they weren't able to drop him. He got his Refresh Orb, got his Portal Key. I mean, there was just too much lockdown coming out. So yeah, that was probably their window in which they needed to sort of enact their strategy, and they didn't really push for it. And as the game went on, I don't really think they had a better chance. So.
Yeah, it just started to get out of hand, and as a team, you know, with the Deadwood, that Hag was having a great farm, Chessie on the Parasite, really everyone on Stake was having a good time, and that was definitely a dangerous lineup for that. So, one-trick pony couldn't control it, and in the end, Stay Green will take the first game here in this best out of 3.
Yeah.
So again, one-trick pony. Now, I will say it was definitely it was a better performance than they had last time they played Stay Green on Sunday. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
But in the end, still Stay Green, of course, the better team, at least in Game 1. We'll see what One Trick Pony has as an answer for game number 2. Anyways, we are going to take a short break, Emperor, and unless there's anything else you wanted to say?
Nope, all good.
Okay, we're good. We're going to take a short break here. We got OTP taking on Stay Green. Stay tuned, guys. Game 2 going to be coming up shortly.
Yeah, well, the issue...
For this. Oh, okay. Oh, the Sunday. Okay.
You guys are having a new office put up right now, right?
We